This is the Ponderous Brick Thinker with a castle update. And the update is, I'm going to start working on the staircase of the Tower of Understanding, and I'm going to start answering a question that I have not yet asked. Where are the bedrooms going to be? I don't see any problems with the staircase. I have brown bricks. I have worked with them before. The only issue might be the smooth plates right here, but if anything, I could put a temporary flat plate until I get one of the color that I would really like to be there. The bedrooms are another matter. They could change the shape of the tower, and when I made the graph, a single team member could be part of a different tower, but not solely dedicated to it. However, there are some obvious ones. For example, Beast will be in the Tower of Understanding. Storm would be in the Tower of Immersion. I have to think about Shivaka. Tissaria, Tower of Immersion. And then the Tower of Fun is going to be large. So there's plenty of room there, but also, this is not Fun Guy. He might go with Understanding. Chewbacca might go Understanding, but he might also be Fun. Definitely Fun. Wolverine could be Immersion. Sarah's Fun. So it's these three guys, I would say, that I still need to kind of think about. They kind of go in a particular direction. He can be Immersion, but he could also be 3 and 3. That's how it's working out. Yeah, maybe we'll go with that for now. But what I'm going to be doing for that part is, as I have done in the past, where I just put a stack of bricks and a plate to represent there's going to be something there, either below it or above it. And in this case, I'm going to be starting attaching the levels and seeing how they interact with each other. Because while I do have, say, for example, here's a level and here's another level, it does not necessarily mean a full floor. It could be half, partial, or completely open. So it is experimentation time to see what are the spaces the towers are going to have, because the stairs are going to have they need a lot of room. That's also going to be a challenge to kind of where do I put the bedrooms in the Tower of Understanding, because yikes, it's a lot of for the stairs and also for the other towers. So that is something else I need to think about as to how to put spaces that I would like to have there and be kind of sort of functional, that there is a way to get around in these towers. But first, I'm going to start with the Tower of Understanding. I put in plates here temporarily just to see if it's better to start further away from the entrance and have more room here rather than trying to go around this. Well, the wall's going to go right here, but rather than have stairs start, turn around, and then start going up around. So this is going to be open, wall, wall, and a wall here, so that these walls will stay and the stairs and this part will go away as needed. It is going away from the plan. I'm gonna try and go and forecast, see where it ends up, and if it helps the situation. The next step is to continue placing plates that are going to be hidden, meaning the out of sight ones, maybe up to here, and then also to project where this is going to end up when it reaches the height of the floor, and see if that makes sense. So here's the progress so far. I placed the bottom level, which will be hidden by the stairs and the final floor tiles or plates. And I mentioned this in the previous episode, where this is the same height as this level. So when I do place plates, they're going to be connected if I leave it like that, but this needs to go away, or be able to go away. So I am going to have to do something about that, because I made this little mock-up. It might be the final, we'll see. But it is stone colors, because I have this there. So it's kind of suggesting that there's stone still coming up. It was carved away to create the stairs. It won't go higher than this, but we'll see how it goes. But again, so if I press it down, it's going to connect and I won't be able to remove the tower base, which is counterproductive. So this is what I'm thinking about. To keep this line here for the wall of the tower, it's going to go with the stairs and thus with the whole tower, meaning that this part needs to be smooth in order to support the weight. Not necessarily connect to it, but just support the weight so it doesn't droop. So stairs, the wall, right there. I am going to need a smooth plate here because at this level, this kind of interacts with that. And again, it's not connected, it's just supporting the weight. And so then here becomes the outer wall line. So there's going to be a wall here and continue upward. So again, I'm going to use this as a guide in terms of how high the stone colors are going to continue up, but it's more or less going to end here and the rest will be the brown bricks. And the next part is to, yes, replace this part with a smooth plate and then see where it ends up. Since I did push this around, see how high and where that point is to see if it still makes sense. Here's the progress so far. The temporary stairs are in place and I did the arrangements that I needed to do. So this, theoretically, it can be taken out like that. I did alter the support a little bit, but yes, this can be taken away. So now that that's more or less settled, here are the temporary stairs, and they are more or less leading to the same place as originally designed. So I'm not sure if I thought of that. I didn't review the previous episode, but apparently I did keep it, start here and then go up, which is nice. However, I think I will continue the wall underneath here and be massive, just like right here, and then go up. And then have the smooth plates on top so that this can be removable and part of it can rest on top of that wall. But overall, it's coming together. The next step is to locate the brown smooth plates so I can start putting them here. And then after that, at least the first layer of brown bricks along the edge here. Here is the layer so far. I place smooth plates here. I am missing some for the nougat and the dark brown, but overall it's there. So by continuing the color at least one level up in terms of plate, it kind of makes it more cohesive rather than having just a noticeable line between the both divides. So that way I can do this. You can see which plates I still need, but provides a smoother transition. And I have done the first row of bricks, but here I went up until where I think the brown plates are going to start. So this would be the extent of the stone colors in terms of stairs. It is probably going to go a little bit higher for the wall, but only so high. But that will be another step. For now, I'm going to just continue along here and just increase the height of it. Here's the progress so far. I have gotten up to the landing and it looks okay. I do have some issue with how the plates are on top of the bricks. They create their own pattern, which I should have expected, but there we go. As it is, this landing is one brick and a plate high, so it does have some effect on the overall pattern. I'm not sure if I'm going to change it. I'm going to continue up and leave it there, but it might be edited later on. Just because I can always put some detailing on the outer edge here to hide the stairs, so to speak. It would also depend if I have enough of the proper colors to be there, because I was kind of relying on the 2x4 plates to be the basis of the stairs. But if I'm cutting it short, it's going to be harder to use them. But it's going to be part of the design challenge. I also wanted to see how many and what pattern I can have here, and if I have enough of the bricks. So it's a balancing act. So I'm just going to continue up, and I think it's almost there. Just one row this way, but it's going to be at that height. So yeah, almost there. So here we have the beginnings of the staircase. I say the beginnings because I still have, it's not quite how I would like it, but I see promising parts where it's really the plate on top of a brick that makes it or sells it that this is what I wanted to do, because otherwise it's a little too much detail to have just a different color of a plate to be there. Even though it kind of makes sense, it's just a step, it's like a slab of stone. But overall, I think having a continuous color rather than having a different color is the best way to go. But I'll be thinking about it as I continue working in other parts of the castle. Again, I could always put more detail to kind of make this more consistent, but I think by combining the plate and the brick to be the uniform color is the best way to go. But this is actually looking pretty good. I like how it looks. The same kind of pattern can be found in other parts of the castle, so that it's pulling together, I would say. And now will be the discussion for the bedrooms. Let me just figure out how to start thinking about that. So for the bedrooms, I'm going to use these size of plates. They're 6 by 12s. They are inspired by the Cozy House 3-in-1 set I have done earlier. And the bedrooms were more or less this size, a single line of wall around it, but that was pretty good enough to make it appear like a bedroom. So I think that'll be enough. The most defined tower is the Tower of Understanding, partially because it's science and it's categorized and organized, and then I can easily go in and make the adjustments that I need to. The most ambiguous is the Tower of Immersion. All I can say is Storm's bedroom is going to be much higher than Saraya's, and I still don't have a clear shape on that, so that's forthcoming. The Tower of Fun is, yeah, it still needs some a thought to it. However, I don't want it to be like the Tower of Understanding, where each section is its own interpretation of fun, rather than it should be all the ideas together as the tower is built. So it does have some categories in terms of the, let's say, the team members that they're going to have the bedrooms there. So Saria, no. So for the bedroom, so the tower is, I think, should be inspired by the team members that are going to have bedrooms there. So it's Sarah, Logan, and Beta. Logan is sports, but it's not going to be like a section of tower is dedicated to one kind of sport, but rather sport elements throughout. And Sarah is a rock climber, so it's not going to be a bedroom next to a climbing wall, but rather there's going to be elements all around to climb. Beta is a dinosaur, so um, naturalistic elements throughout, not just a little part of it. It's going to be throughout. I'm probably going to push in more ideas in there, but since those are the three that are going to be in the tower, I'm probably going to put just, for now, their bedrooms on the upper level of here, here, and there, so that at least I can start thinking, okay, there's going to be something there definite, and then I just need to continue thinking, what else can be in this tower? So for the Tower of Understanding, I think I'm ready to start putting my ideas as to where the bedrooms are. That's why I have some plates and some temporary bricks to lift them up into place. The first idea is to stack the bedrooms on top of each other, and they protrude to the side of the square that is the Tower of Understanding. So it is a little bit, maybe a bridge that the first level just walks through. There's not going to be walls underneath, so it's just going to be out and maybe a support on the opposite end. But yeah, maybe a bridge idea is what's going to happen. However, the sightlines is for, as turning in this way, this part is going to cover partially the Tower of Immersion. And so it's just a balancing act of, is this suitable? It does make sense. I could give an element to each person, and so that it can be categorized as such, that this element follows this person, which, it's going to be a leap. But that's one approach. Here's another. So for this arrangement, there's going to be 4 levels that are going to come out from the top of the tower, so that the final floor has little rooms sticking out from every end. The top level, if I remember correctly, is fire. If it's not, it will be, because I think that's what it should be on top. It could be a kind of maybe a flaming roof. We'll see how that goes. But um, that will be an interesting shape. It's going to be very modern compared to the traditional architecture, but I think that's an interesting goal. Plus, I put in the measuring column for the Tower of Immersion, and it might be okay, considering that this is the upper level, and that, well, for the Lego people down there, it might cover the view, but from human eyes, it'll be tall enough to be seen and not covered by the Tower of Understanding. But I think that's an interesting approach because it's going to be a little bit more substantial when the Tower of Understanding is spreading outwards in the upper level, so that it might have a bigger presence than just keeping to its the square floor plan. This changes it up a little bit, and I think it's an interesting approach. I'm gonna continue thinking about it. Plus, yes, obviously there's now 4 rooms up there instead of the 3 bedrooms, but for guests. And so, oh yeah, let me do the Tower of Fun. So here are potential places for the bedrooms in the Tower of Fun. It is on the top level, as I have mentioned. They are rectangular, so they are kind of pointing around the path going into the tower, but it doesn't have to be in that orientation. It could be a square. We'll see how that goes. But there we go. That's more or less where the bedrooms are. The Tower of Immersion is still. I'm probably going to do that next episode. A little bit more work on there. Hopefully, I can make a breakthrough and see what is the Tower of Immersion. So that'll be it for this episode. The Tower of Understanding has made great progress, but I think it's because of its nature that it's easy to understand and approach. The other towers, need a little bit of work, but eventually I'll get there. And so this has been the Ponderous Brick Thinker. Thank you for stopping by. If you liked the episode, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of this project, go ahead and subscribe and sign up for notifications. And see you next time.